The SCV is that one great fortress that holds our heritage.
Well, my name is Micheal Givens. I've been a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans since 1994. In that time, I've served as camp commander, brigade commander, lieutenant commander, and commander of the South Carolina Division. Right now, I serve as commander of the Army of Northern Virginia. You know, every couple of years we find ourselves being inundated with letters and telephone calls expressing the dire situation that we as heritage defenders find ourselves. We are indeed at a critical crossroad, and the time to act is just at hand. You know, just a few short years from now, we'll begin the sesquicentennial of the war to prevent Southern independence. I don't need to remind you that the public educational services of this country, the media, and Hollywood can't be expected to tell the true story of the Confederate cause to anybody.
If you don't know your own history, you'll be ignorant and helpless before somebody who claims to know your history.
The propaganda train will leave the PC station by the end of this year, blowing its whistle in celebration of the bicentennial of the birth of that Abraham Lincoln. As if this will not be enough to endure, we'll then be assaulted with the heroic stories of freedom fighting and the righteous cause of those so-called liberty-loving invaders that we call Yankees. Look ahead just to the year 2016. How do you see your heritage then? Has it come through those years of trials untarnished and stronger than before?
I see the SCV as a strong body that's readied itself through education to fight the battles necessary to vindicate the cause of the South. I see an SCV that has educated themselves to the point of becoming the intellectual authority on all things Confederate.
The only way we can achieve these results is through determined efforts by all of our members, our camps, and our divisions. The national office is going to need to raise the funds to employ a professional public relations firm. Advertising through television, radio, print, and direct mail must be prepared for an all-out barrage on America with the facts of the Southern situation. Divisions are going to need to prepare speakers lists of able men and women who share our passion and are determined to help us spread the truth. Division leadership must also lead through example by being in the public eye with information about the South's struggles and cause. Camps, they're going to have to prepare their members by bringing in speakers to cover the most important subjects of the day. They need to study causes of the war, secession, slavery, the atrocities toward the Southern civilian ancestors of ours, the legacy of invasion, subjugation, and of course, those horrors of Reconstruction. Camps are going to need to engage their communities, and they're going to need to share these stories with everybody that they meet. It's going to be through active participation during this sesquicentennial that's going to spread the news of truth and make it a true time of celebration. We have a golden opportunity at hand. We're going to be able to tell our side of the story. We're going to be able to dispel the lies that have been spread by the North, and we're going to vindicate the cause of the Confederate soldier. We'll have an opportunity to increase our membership and hold on to the strong men that we have now. You know, on December the 20th, 1860, South Carolina exercised her right to peacefully leave the Union. In response, Lincoln called for 75,000 troops to quell her liberty at the point of bayonet. Will our people have to suffer from another attack from Washington, this time an intellectual assault armed with distortion and calumny? Well, only if we allow it. Each man must be prepared to do his duty. Each camp must help prepare each man with the knowledge of truth. Each division must prepare their brigades and camps, supplying them with all the assistance and support necessary to educate and inform them about the causes and actions of the war. The GEC must concentrate their efforts towards support at every level and drive the national battlefront, including the use of television commercials and documentaries. Just like our heroes of the 1860s, we're greatly outnumbered. At the outset of the war, Bishop Joseph Wilmer asked General Robert Edward Lee, says, "How do you expect to win success in such an unequal contest?" Robert E. Lee answered, "At present, I am not concerned with results. My reliance is in the help of God. God's will ought to be our aim, and I'm contented that His designs must be accomplished and not my own." You know, it's a painful fact of our age. that there's few Southerners that are prepared or even have the inclination to defend their own noble heritage. It saddens me to think of how few young men of today are taught the true stories of their own families and their own hard-fought struggles for liberty. Well, while I tell you this with sorrow, I know in my heart that there is a chance, and I know for a fact that the chance lies in the able hands of the men of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. We will be prepared, and we are duty-bound to see that the true history of the South is presented to future generations. But the time to act is at hand. Each day we delay this duty is another day we fall further behind. Tomorrow is too late. It makes no difference how noble our intentions are if they're only determined to be done tomorrow. Today is a gift of the Lord. Tomorrow is promised to no one. Who's best qualified to tell the story of the South? If not us, the men whose hearts pump the same patriotic blood as those courageous cavaliers of the Confederacy? Then who? Elect me, Micheal Givens, as your Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief, and together we'll strike the blows necessary to vindicate the cause of the South and teach future generations by our unfaltering example. Thank you, gentlemen.